Hello and welcome to Chronic Health Collective. We're here to empower you to transform every area of your life. We've gathered the best coaches and experts in the world to bring you weekly insights that will elevate your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Whether you're looking to boost your energy, heal relationships, or live a more productive, balanced life, we are here to guide you every step of the way. My name is Jackie Mott. I am a mindset and empowerment expert. And my favorite thing about what I do is to support my clients in creating and reigniting passion for their lives and create lives that they actually love. With me today, I have Amanda and Kelly. Amanda, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi there. I am so glad to be here today. My name is Amanda Beth Johnson. I am a wellness coach and intuitive healer, and I just love empowering individuals to find their authentic self and live the happiest life they possibly can.
Beautiful.
I'm Kelly Fox. I am here, one half of Fearless Generations. We are the mother-daughter dynamic duo life coaching team to help you move from fear to freedom, get out of those places where you feel stuck so that you can live the life you want to live with less fear.
Yay. So today we are doing our very first panel conversation with the Chronic Health Collective team. And today's subject, I believe, is called New Beginnings. So this is an exciting thing to do at this time of year because we are right on the cusp of a brand new 2025. So just to sort of switch things up today, we're going to ask our cohorts to jump into our shoes for a moment and help us understand their perspective on our specialties. So again, mine is mindset and empowerment. And I'm going to ask first Amanda and then Kelly this question. When it comes to new beginnings, Amanda, how important do you think a person's mindset is?
Oh, goodness. I think mindset is absolutely everything. You know, I use the example of, if you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep. I didn't everything. And you drop your first cup of coffee. I was like, oh man, what a mess. And looking at that from a mindset of gratitude and looking at, I could have slept better, but I slept some. And then going and making your coffee. And when you spill your coffee, it's like, I'm really glad I have dogs to clean that up. And I'm glad it only spilled on the tile and not on the carpet. And so I think that mindset's everything. For me, I teach a lot of gratitude in your mindset because I think gratitude is real easy to hop to as kind of a bridge to that more positive mindset. But if you believe you're going to have an icky day, you're going to have an icky day. And the same thing extends to your life. And as we review our new year, don't point out all the things that didn't work last year. Point about all those little teeny tiny successes you had and look for more of those successes. Find that silver lining in everything you do.
Oh, I love that, Amanda. That is brilliant. And Kelly, I'm going to ask you the same question. When it comes to new beginnings, how important do you think a person's mindset is?
I think mindset is super important. I think that is probably something similar within everything that we do here. All the different modalities of coaching that we do here, mindset kind of plays at least some aspect of a part in all of the coaching that we do. But I think, if we can believe it, if we can see it, if we can imagine it, then it's possible. And I think once we can support our clients ourselves to believe that, to own that, to embrace that mentality.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so that is just a great segue, because I'm just going to give you just a little bit. This is perfect, actually, because this is my book. It's called Believe All Things Are Possible. So we're really talking about the same sort of concept, in that what we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information. That is one of those questions that I work with all the time when I'm working with my clients, or speaking, or writing, or any of the other things that I do.
Bless you.
So the next question that I have for you ladies is, if someone came to you and they were feeling blocked, or they weren't able to move forward into whatever their new beginning, we're talking about the new year right now, but it could be anything, right? So whatever their new beginning is, I mean, if they've had the loss of a spouse or partner, they could be starting a brand new life. If it's something where they've lost a job, then maybe they're starting a new position somewhere, or starting a new business. If their kids have grown up and flown out of the coop, then maybe they're starting lives as empty nesters. But it's all new beginnings, right? So if someone were to come to you and was having issues with limiting beliefs, or things of that nature that were causing blocks for them, that were preventing them from moving forward into that new beginning, what kind of advice might you give? And we'll start with Amanda again.
Oh, goodness. I think I have had just about every one of those new beginnings. And yeah. So I think the first thing to do is to help that person to look at what were the benefits and what is the opportunity with a new beginning. If it's, it's you're widowed, as I've experienced, what were the gifts that I took from that relationship? And what are the gifts that I carry forward into what I'm doing? And looking at every single day as a new beginning. Yes, we have big goals. We have great big goals, and we set out those New Year's resolutions, and sometimes they last longer than others. But I think first of all is we have to look inside of ourselves, and we really need to figure out where you want to go with that. And so if someone is going into that new beginning, I would encourage them to look at where they're at, where they've come from, what they're willing to let go of in order to have something bigger and better, because there's always a release with that. And so I think that new beginnings start every day. There's big changes in life that create really big new beginnings, and you set your goals, and they need to be your goals, not your bestie's goals, not your therapist's goals. They need to be yours, and you need someone in your corner that can help you stay oriented to those goals. And those goals have room to change and grow and get bigger and better every day. That's what I would say.
That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Amanda. And Kelly, how would you like to handle that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, people getting stuck, that's my jam. So we're together on this, Jackie. Usually you're stuck because of fear, and that's our specialty. We deal with fear. So we would get down into the nitty gritty of what is that fear and what's causing it, and how can we, most easily baby step our way out of it. But I think that with
I think we've lost fear. Sound.
And so, oh no, can you hear
me now? Can you repeat that, Kelly? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was saying that we would get down into the nitty gritty of what was causing that fear, what was coming up to cause that fear, so that we could help move ourselves through it easily with baby steps. But I think that with any kind of new any kind of unknown situation, there's going to be fear. And so the best thing we can do is to give ourselves compassion, to give ourselves grace, to be kind to ourselves as we transition into this new beginning. I know
We lost
to
you.
do it all at once. Did we lose me again?
That's okay. We caught you again.
We caught it.
I want to do everything at once. So I'm an all or nothing kind of girl. And so when we're starting something new, it's really important that we have compassion for ourselves and we allow ourselves to slowly roll into this new thing we're going to do. So we're not going to the gym every day for 2 hours, right? We go maybe twice a week for a half an hour, and then we build up, right? So we make our goals actually possible, something that we can stick with, something that doesn't overwhelm us even more and put us back into fear again. I love what Amanda said about having accountability partners. Those are so important with helping us in doing something new and staying consistent at something new. But I think really when you're doing something new, the best thing you can do for yourself is to be kind. To be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is absolutely brilliant. So one of the things that really helped me when I was going through sort of the adjustment phase of my divorce. So that was really early on, adjusting to a new way of living where this person was, no longer part of my day-to-day life. There's a movie called Hope Floats. Have you ladies heard of it?
Yes.
It's a Sandra Bullock movie, and it is one of my favorites. There is a line right at the end of that movie where Sandra Bullock's character, I think it's Bertie Calvert, shares this with us. She says, beginnings are usually scary, endings are usually sad, and what happens is what happens in the middle. So when you find yourself at a new beginning, give hope a chance to float up, and it will. And I love that. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I should have had it right in front of me, but that kind of, to me, that is the mindset. When you are facing a new beginning, that is the mindset that you need to have. It's okay if you're sad. It's okay if you're hurting. It's okay. All of it's okay. And you're starting someplace new, and understand that the hope is going to show up, and you can do, especially if you've got support. And again, Chronic Health Collective is here every week, and we do the magazine once a month. So you've got resources that are available. Find the person who can help you walk through whatever it is that you need to walk through to be able to start that new beginning. Because otherwise you just end up sort of living in that place where I say, it's got the sharp edges and the jagged corners. And that's no way to live. That's just no way to live. So what are your thoughts, ladies, on that movie or that subject, or however that goes?
Yeah. That movie is a fun movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the way she finds out that her husband's cheating on her is pretty hardcore. Mm-hmm. But I love that it shows resilience of women in that movie, from the mother to Bertie to her daughter, and how they learn to stand on their own. And they're all going through transition. I'm sorry, Amanda. I think I talked over you.
You're fine. You're fine. My comment was just the whole acknowledging the emotions that you have. And so you can't short circuit those. You have to feel them. You have to feel the feels. You feel the sadness, the anger, the 5 stages of grief. Those 5 stages of grief come with every big change in our life. You grieve that marriage. It is something that you didn't expect or whatever. You grieve the death of your spouse. You grieve your children doing the normal thing and moving out and moving on with their life. I cried for days, absolutely days. You cannot not feel the feels. But when you have felt the feels and now those feelings get stuck, that's when for me, that's when I step in with theta healing and we clear those. Once you've learned your lessons, those things no longer have to hurt. They don't have to trigger you. When you've moved past it, you shouldn't still get triggered. And so that's where I employ theta healing to kind of work through those emotions and find their place and to remove that trauma. But yeah, you got to feel those feels. There's just no short circuiting that.
No, there's
Absolutely.
no shortcut at all. You know, if you don't do the, and like, it took me quite a long time, to be perfectly honest. It took me quite a long time. And I loved what you just said, Amanda, because that was when I really could start to go, oh my gosh, I know that I've healed. I know that I am now in a different place, because now I can think about those, you know, those funny stories again. I can remember how much that person meant and appreciate what we shared, you know. So those to me were really, really poignant signs when I reached those sort of goal markers, or whatever you want to call them. It was like, oh, I just had that memory. I just had that. And I was laughing because I remembered that thing that happened. So the energetic charge has changed. The way that I feel about that circumstance has changed. So I love that we're talking about gratitude and all of that, because that's the stuff that makes life really, who are you if you don't remember those things that you've experienced that brought you joy? Who are you? How can you move forward when you're trying to erase parts of your life, even if they were painful, even if they were difficult? What did you learn? Where did you go with that you may not have become had you not had that experience? You ladies are absolutely brilliant. I love what you're sharing. Love what you're sharing. So do you have any other insights or ideas of things that you might suggest for people when they're in that position of a new beginning related to mindset?
What you
think
focus
it's
on
really
grows.
important.
Amanda, you said what you focus on grows?
What you focus on grows. So wherever you put your emotions, your thoughts, you put your thoughts on the icky stuff, you get more icky. You put your thoughts on moving forward in the positive and remembering those good things, you're going to have more good things. So wherever you put your mindset, you're going to get back.
Beautiful. And Kelly?
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was going to say, but I think that mindset is definitely important when it comes to building yourself up, putting yourself in a, if you're dreading it, it's going to make the experience a whole lot more challenging than if you are anticipating or excited or some other type of adjective. If you can put yourself in a place where you feel like you can do it, then it's going to make that experience a lot more enjoyable.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think that my last thought on this is going to be, find something to get excited about. One of the most important questions that I think I asked myself when I was in that phase was, what would make me happy? What do I want? What would bring me joy, or whatever it is for you, right? So find something to get excited about in the moving forward. So that's where we're going to leave my segment of today's show. So we're going to head to a commercial break here. And when we come back, Amanda is going to take the reins and jump into the driver's seat. So stick with us for a minute. We will be right back. What we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information. And we create our circumstances to support the belief systems that we carry. That might sound like bad news, like you're somehow at fault or to blame for the things about your life that aren't working. But let me share with you why that's not true. I'm Jackie Mott. I've always been fascinated by what makes people tick, and I've been working with people for well over a decade. What I can tell you is that those two statements have proven themselves to be true over and over again. The really great news is that we can change it. If you created your circumstances, you must also have the ability to create something different. you can overcome negative conditioning, self-image, limiting beliefs, and instead create healthy relationships, joy, and fulfillment. And that is my specialty. You can find me at jackiemott.com or on Facebook or YouTube. And if you're ready to start living with confidence, joy, healthy relationships, and excitement about your life and future, send me a message or an email and let's talk about it.
We're back. So thanks, Jackie. You did an awesome job there. So this whole first quarter panel thing is all very new to us, and I just want to share that I think we're rocking it. So my question for this panel is, what do you feel is the biggest indicator? What do you feel? What do you see? What is the biggest indicator that as someone is going through life, that it's time for them to reach out and to seek some help at whatever level it is? So what's the biggest indicator for you, Jackie, that people need something else? I cannot hear you, Jackie.
I can't hear her either.
There we go. You're back.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So I think that is an absolutely amazing question, Amanda. And I think that it really depends on the person. It really depends on the person in my mind. When we're struggling, when we get that, and I think I'm going to go back to that stuck thing, when we're in that position of we don't quite know what to do. We know that something needs to change, but we're not really sure what we need to change. I think that is a really great place to look for someone who can offer guidance or support to you. Because often when we're in that position, one of the things that I talk about is we only know what we know, right? So if I try to do something different, especially this starting over or new beginnings idea, if I try to do things differently, but use the same methods or use the same knowledge or use the same tools, then I'm not likely to get different results than I would have otherwise, right? So it's important to find someone who can give you guidance or support when you get into that position where you're just like, I know something's got to give, but I don't know what to do. And if you're in a position where it's starting to impact your life, then it's really important to act now. If it's starting to impact your ability to function within your home or your family or your job or your work or whatever that looks like, then it's definitely important to act quickly, act now, and find someone that will understand you. Find someone that you can feel like they get you, they understand what you're talking about, and they know what you need. And now I'll hand it off to Kelly.
Well, this is an interesting question for me because in Fearless Living, which is what we teach, the principles and teachings and tools and strategies of Fearless Living Institute. Rhonda Britton, the CEO, she has a quote that says, "No one can be fearless alone." So we feel like we should always have support. Now, if you mean support in the sense of a coach or a therapist or some other kind of professional modality, person, then I don't know if I necessarily have an indicator that would tell me that. I think that we always need to be increasing our support team around us. We always need to be making sure that we have those different areas of support that we're in need of, that there's a plethora of people to choose from, so that when one of our friends is maybe down on their luck or having a hard day and we don't feel like we can reach out to them, that there's somebody else that we can reach out to. Because I feel like for myself, I know I don't ever want to burden someone with my problems. And because I'm the coach in my group of friends and family, people are always coming to me, right? So I know people's problems. So I'm like, I can't put one more problem on this person, right? Even if it's mine. So I think it's having multiple people that you can go to ask for help, or if it's someone that you pay, like a therapist or a coach, or whoever that might be, a healer, and so that that you can go to them and you can express whatever issues you have going on with yourself. But I think that it's always important for us to have a fear buster team. So those people on your team that are going to help you bust out your fears. Just always having those people around you, those people who remind you who you are, those people who remind you of how capable you are, how powerful you are. But also having those people who maybe have been there and have done the things that you have done or that you're aspiring to do, and they can support you and help you, or maybe you need legal advice or medical advice, and so you have those people on your support team. Like, it can be all different kinds of people can be on your support team. But for me, the most important thing is to keep adding people. If you only have one friend, that's not good. So, if you only have one person you can trust, I'd suggest increasing that number, looking out, being more open to who's around you and who's willing to, have your back, because there's more likely more than one person there. And so, always be increasing that support team around you.
Awesome. I think that, Jackie, you talked about, when you can't put your finger on it, but doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And don't they say that's the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
But you're right. And I talk about, society tells us we're supposed to have the education, the car, the house, the kids. And when you have all of those things, and you're still not happy, I think that's a really big indicator. And I, like you, Jackie, took a long time to be able to work through, process, and look at my divorces as being different. And I've had a lot of challenges in my life that I have thrived through. Surviving is still being in the thick of it and getting past it so that you can actually thrive in that. And that is what I talk about in my book, Blooming into Life. Oh, the lighting is, there we go. This is my story and the many things that I have been through and how we grow and develop a bigger circle. And Kelly, you mentioned before about the whole accountability factor and having those people in our circles. And so many of us, as women especially, we are charged with taking care of others and taking care of ourselves. It falls to the very last thing on our list. We need to make ourselves a priority, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we cannot fully take care of others. And looking at some of that caretaking and some of that giving that we do toward others is trying to teach them how to take care of us and taking that responsibility and growing that circle. You're right. Relying on one friend gets daunting. And Kelly, yes, you hear everyone else's concerns that are around you, but always being the person everyone goes to, it's also hard for us to accept help from others. And so, yeah, we do. We really, really do need to grow that circle, which brings me to my next question. How do you redefine your circle as you grow? Jackie, you look like you're bursting with an answer.
Oh, I love this question. I have a theory, and I don't want to say that it's mine. I think I may have heard it at some point, but I couldn't tell you where. I have this theory that we have different circles of, I'm going to call it exposure. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I personally have 3. I've got different circles of exposure. So the closest circle to me are the people who they're my ride or die people, right? Like, they're my I know they've got my back, and I know they've got my back because they've proven it time and again. They've shown me that they are there for me. And it's a small group for me. That's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and they get the most access to me. They also get, in all honesty, the most vulnerable and authentic version of Jackie. They get that version of Jackie. The second circle for me is the people that they're still close, right? They're still close, and I want to keep them close, but at the same time, I don't maybe know them as well, or they haven't had time yet to show me what they're going to do in our relationship. But there's still people that I want to keep close to me. They get a little bit less of access to me or access to my emotions. And the last one is the general group of people that I know in the world. That one's quite large. That one's quite large. And you need to earn your way in my humble opinion. You earn your way in by showing me over, and over again what I can expect of you. This is a relatively new thing in my world, because I'm going to say that there are different ideas that developed from my going through my healing process after the divorce. One of them is something I didn't understand before, and it's reciprocation in relationships. I had always been the person, as you talked about, the person who stepped in, as the caretaker for other people. And sometimes we can't avoid that. I mean, when we're dealing with family members and health issues and such, then that's what we need to do. But at the same time, there's a difference now. There's a difference now in who I'm looking for, and I'm going to call it the price of admission. I really like that statement because it feels very empowered to me. But there's a price of admission into my world. And I'm not going to let just anybody have access to the close parts, that, my most vulnerable pieces. I'm not going to give everybody access to that. And the reciprocation is that I'm requiring something of these people. And of course, my inner circle, I require the most from them. And then as you get out to the outer circle, I don't really expect or require very much from those folks. They're just part of my world. Does that answer your question, Amanda?
It really does. And I love that there's levels of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the price of admission. So Kelly, what is your take on the question of how you redefine your circles as you grow?
Yes, thank you for saying the question. What the question was. Oh, I'm sorry. My signal, I guess, is just not really great for us right now. So hopefully you can get something from what I'm saying. I think that as we grow and as we progress in our journey, certain people are going to fall out of our circle and certain people are going to join our circle. And I think when we try to keep someone in, when it's a detriment to ourselves to keep that person in our circle, we play small, or we allow fear to kind of take over us, to try to keep this person in our circle. That's when it can become a problem. I think some people are meant to be in our lives for a season or a reason, right? So someone, and then we move on and we go our separate ways, and it doesn't have to be this awful thing. They don't have to be out of our lives. They just may be out of that circle. So I've had a lot of friends that have moved out of my circles, and we still talk. We still, do things together, but they're not someone that I talk to all the time anymore. And it doesn't mean that I love them less or that I care about them less. They're just not in that circle anymore. And then as we do other things, other people then come into our circle. So I think allowing those circles to be fluid, allowing them to be flexible. I do love price of admission. I do love that as a rule. I think for me, I can have a tendency of going all in with someone who hasn't necessarily shown that they can or want that level of access to me, and I get myself in trouble. So it is important to be careful, but also not fearful. So it's learning that as you go, and just continuing to stay open and allow for those new people to show up and for those others to possibly mosey on.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. So I like that everyone has a season and a reason. Jackie, I love the proven ride or dies. My proven ride or dies are just a handful also. And those are the people that I trust implicitly. And just being open to allowing your circles to change. As you grow, those people don't always fit that mold. And so I just accept that. And I think that of a divorce as well. Sometimes we outgrow that circle, and so it's not a bad thing. It can be a positive thing, and to allow it to happen, and don't fight to keep those people in your life that don't want to be there. And don't keep those people in your life that aren't making it a better place. So with that, I think we're going to go to another commercial break.
To what you tune into, attentive to love and curiosity, interest and enthusiasm. Passion is love. And when we talk about love, it's love of self, love of others, love of God, love of the process. Passion is that place, that sweet spot where we are living intentionally, we are living attentively.
You got a little taste of Terry there. That was exciting. Yeah, awesome. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. This is our last segment of this session that we have here. And so I'm excited to get us going and talking about. So it's time to put yourself in that mindset. Hopefully you can hear me as I ask you this question. So a lot of what we do is learning to identify our voice of fear. So I would love to hear, how do you identify when your voice of fear is talking to you? How do you know when it's your voice of fear? And what are maybe the top three things that you do to shift out of that voice of fear?
Was that me?
That's you, Jackie.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is a great question. Oh my gosh. You guys are brilliant. Okay. So voice of fear and the top three things. So I'm going to share with you. I had a bit of an accident a couple of weeks ago. I fell flat on my face. I broke my tooth. I gave myself a fat lip. And I was meant to be on camera the next day. So, in a nutshell, I was contacting the person who was supposed to have me on her show from the emergency room while I'm getting treatment and saying, I'm not sure that I can be there. And I will be there if you want me to, but I might look like I lost a fight. So here's how I handle fear. A day or two later, I have a lip probably 3 times at least the size that it normally is. I've got a broken tooth. I've got, bruising and all of this other stuff. And I started to go into this place of, oh God, what is this going to be like? So that's my voice, right? What about this? Like, oh, you're on camera a fair bit, Jackie, right? And how is this? Oh my God, what are you going to do? So here's what I did. I got on camera. I set up my phone and I did a video on exactly the things that I was feeling at that moment, the fear, the stuff that was going through my mind that was causing me to have those fears, and also how I was feeling about all of this. Because as Amanda said, I don't think there's a shortcut. But we get to recognize our voice. The more that we do these things, we can recognize that thing coming up for us, the sound of that voice in our head, or the way that it feels in our body, maybe. And how does that impact what you do? One of the techniques that I use with my clients all the time is something I call dancing with your demons. So this is part of the process when I'm helping folks work with their mindset, is this dancing with their demons. So we have this fear come up, and the fear often manifests almost like a voice of, well, what could go wrong? And oh, what about this? And last time this happened, blah, 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 blah. It's that stuff that happens in our head, right? So the fear will come up and it has a voice in our head. That's the demon. So what I've learned in my own healing processes and my trainings and everything else is something that I call dancing with your demons. So the idea is to remove the power. We remove the power. We acknowledge that they're there. We see them for what they are. And then we move forward, because fear is really it's a great thing to have when you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Right? Like, it's a very important function of the mind or the body or whatever that is. It's a very important function. And when it's limiting you or stopping you in your tracks and what you are doing to improve your life or to have that new beginning that we've been talking about on today's show, if that fear is coming up and stopping you, then my best process is to dance with your demon and knock that fear right out of the park.
Love it. I love it. Amanda, how about you? How do you identify your voice of fear, and then what are the top 3 ways that you address it?
So usually I identify my fear by having, I'm moody or I'm more anxious. But my biggest thing is I procrastinate. What I am fearing doing or getting around to, I procrastinate. That's why you all know that I logged in a little later this morning because, well, I was procrastinating getting to the show. Not that I was fearful of it, but the things that I truly have fear over, what I find, what works best for me is to, first of all, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that I'm procrastinating because I'm avoiding something. And to stop avoiding that, giving myself, first of all, acknowledging what it is, stepping into, I'm going to say, meditate, and understanding meditating is not necessarily a position and holding your fingers. Meditating is quieting the mind to a point that you can listen to yourself and listen to your higher self, your guides, or whatever you can pull from in your intuition. And so for me, a lot of times meditation looks like crochet. I crochet. It's a mindless activity that I can put just enough thought in that I can quiet that monkey mind and listen to it. And then a lot of the work is forgiveness, forgiving myself for thinking the way I was thinking about it, and for giving fear any power. So taking the power away from the fear. And then when it's all said and done, I generally jump in head first into whatever task it was. And, my motto often in my life has been, I don't know where I'm going, but I am on my way. And so getting started on that task that I had so much fear and procrastination around is how I address that.
That's awesome. I love that you guys already have these proactive behaviors in hand. I feel that's one of the things that we do as coaches, is help build those proactive behaviors so that when you see your fear within your, what you're thinking or how you're behaving, you can go right into those proactive behaviors and start shifting yourself out of that voice of fear mindset and more into listening to your intuition, or what we call your voice of freedom, and doing those things that are going to move you closer to where you want to be. So love that. Another exercise that I love to do, and maybe this will work for you guys, maybe not, but I love to really get to know our voice of fear in a way that we can see it, we can hear it, so that we can really identify when it's talking. Because sometimes when we're in the thick of it, it's hard to know, is this my voice of fear, or is this just being, rational thinking, or is this my voice of freedom? I don't know, because sometimes our voice of freedom asks us to do scary things. So when is it which voice? So do you have, and this might be a short question, but do you have a visual of your voice of fear? So I'll go first. So my voice of fear actually sounds like Terry. I discovered Terry is my mother, my partner. If you're not, my fear learned long ago that if it spoke to me in my mother's voice, I would listen. So it took me some work to discover that I had attributed some things to Terry that really weren't Terry. They were my voice of really identifying what that voice sounds like, what it looks like, what does it feel like, can be really empowering, so that if you're in fear or freedom, and then you can use those top 3 proactive behaviors to get yourself out of it. So it's kind of a darkness or overwhelming feeling. And my picture of fear is me in the middle of the ocean with sharks circling, and trying to keep everything above water as, different weights are trying to pull me down. That's the visual of my fear. And the voice is Terry's voice. So how about you, Jackie? Do you have a visual? Do you have a particular voice?
So let me see. I can tell you the feeling for sure. I can tell you the feeling that I get, and it's really this feeling of contraction. It's this feeling of like, I don't know if I have really better words. The other is the expansiveness, and that I think is where the freedom comes in. That expansive feeling of, oh yes, I've got this. But the fear is like, I don't know if I've got this. And it's funny because as you were talking about a visual, what I was getting was, do you know that big blue monster? Is it Monsters Inc? I can't remember what that movie is, but you know the big furry blue guy?
Sully?
That's actually a sweetheart. Yes. Yeah, that was who was popping into my head as the visual of fear. And I think because I tend to laugh at fear a lot. Right, because I know it's not real. It's just my imaginary demons or monsters in my head. So that was what was popping up for me.
Yeah. Well, then Mike Wazowski might be a better one because he's easier to laugh at. He's funny. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, in my workshops, I'll show fictional characters like Captain Hook, right? Or or the devil, right? Some people think of your voice of fear as being a mean girl, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it can be different people. Amanda.
I think a lot of times my voice of fear comes in as confusion and chaos. And I also know then a lot of excuses come in, and I can justify and excuse anything away. But I think that it's really hard because as I've done more and more healing, there's not nearly as much fear that comes around. I mean, there's the fear of being a mom that we always worry about our kids, but that's just worry. And what we worry about, it's like praying for what we don't want. So we stop worrying. And when you get to that better place and you don't, you acknowledge the fears, you give them their time and space, and then you send them on their way. But for me, a visual of that oftentimes for me is like having a lock, but the key is right there. So you have the skills. You can let yourself out when you acknowledge your skills and give yourself that freedom to pick up that key and unlock that. And so for me, it's a lock, and usually it's one of those crusty old medieval locks, and it's a skeleton key that works for me. But that's what I see the visualization of what fear is. Fear is something that we have the out, we have the skills, we need to acknowledge it, put it in its space, and let go of it. That's what it is for me.
How you see it, how you feel it, how you experience it, because the more we are aware of what that feels like, what it looks like, how you experience it, the easier it is to identify it and shift out of it. Because at the beginning of the process of us really learning what our fear is and how it expresses itself, we might be 30 minutes into it before we realize, oh, hey, I'm in fear. And so the more details and information we have around it, the faster we can realize that we're in fear and we can shift out of it. And I love that you shared your proactive behaviors to get yourself from fear to freedom, to get yourself into that place where you can now take steps forward. And so thank you so much, ladies, for being here and doing this with me. And I loved having my turn and getting your thoughts on, being fear mastery experts with me. And I'd love to just hear what are your thoughts about everything that's happened during this episode. Jackie, how was your experience?
I think this has been so much fun. It's so much fun getting to know both of you better, and like hearing your areas of specialty, and also very interesting to me because I feel very much like there's so much alignment. There's so much alignment in how we think and how we work with people, the ideas that we have around this. So this has been really tremendous for me on a number of different levels. It just makes me feel even more connected to the Chronic Health Collective. So thank you so much for your questions and your insights and your ideas and your thoughts.
Yes, I agree. Amanda.
Well, I think we've aced this. First of all, give us credit for, pulling off the first quarter. And it really magnifies why it is that we are all together in the Chronic Health Collective, that, we were selected, and we are an amazing powerhouse of individuals that come together to empower other individuals. The magazine is an amazing resource. It's got everyone's input in it, because we can't all be on a show in the same month, but it's really, really awesome to be a part of this. And I agree, just sharing more of our gifts and our talents and looking at how we look at doing our new beginnings, and how So hopefully that inspires others to look at things a little bit differently, a little bit more positively, have that kindness and gratitude.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Yeah, this has been really awesome for me. I love being able to get together with like-minded people and talk about different ways that we can think about things differently, how we can ask different questions to open up different spots in our thought process that we haven't gone to before. That's what coaches do. And so I love and obviously the two of you, and to have this opportunity to speak or think on your topics of expertise, and to hear back from you on mine. So that hopefully all of this will make sense, even though my signal isn't really great right now and I've been sneezing, but I've loved having this opportunity with both of you. And let's see, I believe, Amanda, you are going to start.
Yeah. Just want to invite everybody to join us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. You can watch the past episodes at watch.e360tv.com, in the Vitality TV network, or on our YouTube channel at Chronic Health Collective. So
yeah. And if you would, if you'd like more, to know more about the Chronic Health Collective, visit our website at chronichealthcollective.com, and make sure that you sign up to get our monthly magazine that we've been talking about this whole time. So you can go there, get that, and you'll get to hear from each of us every month. So